Developers plan to build townhomes in a neighborhood.
KLTV's Lexi Vanetti reports about 80 neighbors wrote letters in opposition.
It's a decision that led a group of Tylerites to cheer.
I want to get a show of hands of who in here from our neighborhood is here against this plan.
The Tyler Planning and Zoning Commission denied changing the area near Timberwilde Drive and Richmond Road from a single-family residential district to a multifamily district, meaning the applicant cannot develop the property with 35 townhome units. Today, a dozen neighbors spoke at the meeting expressing concerns with the townhome in their neighborhood.
Our beloved area is characterized by large lots and homeowners that know and care about one another. I think it's obvious from the feedback that this committee has received that we would like to keep it that way.
The lack of accessibility for autos, emergency vehicles, refuse trucks, delivery trucks, and construction equipment to safely enter and exit this 3.35 acre property with a single driveway both in and out.
The applicant says he completed a traffic analysis to see how the townhomes would change traffic flow.
What we came to was one additional car every 12 minutes versus what currently be developed on the property. So currently, I can build 12 single-family houses, R1A, on that property. And so when you do the comparison, it's one extra car every 12 minutes.
Ultimately, the city denies the zone change.
We understand that Tyler needs more housing, but let's do this the right way.
Lexi Vanetti, KLTV 7 News.
Neighbors say there can be a win-win, asking the developer to build a smaller number of single-family homes.